Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero. I'm George Trombley and this is Kanji from Zero. We are trekking through Kanji from Zero Book 1, the first book in what we assume will be a 5-book series. And today we're actually going to show you all the kanji we plan on teaching in the entire set of books, because today's lesson, while also teaching what we do in lesson 5 of Kanji from Zero, it also teaches which kanji is taught in Japan, and that coincidentally, because we have books that teach kanji, will show us the roadmap of the Kanji from Zero book series. So a lot of people hear that, Japan teaches 2,000 kanji, right? But I don't think a lot of people, when they start learning kanji, really understand when these kanji are taught and the long life process that it takes to learn kanji. So a lot of students of Japanese take a tremendous amount of time and they learn all the kanji. Like they try to go through all 2,000, and they don't realize that for Japanese people, that's a 9-year process. So they get bummed out when they don't learn all the kanji, and they don't realize that even the Japanese don't know all the kanji. I don't know all the kanji, and when you look at the list that we're going to present today, you'll see that it's quite a daunting task. And the reality is, you don't need to know all of the kanji. Okay, you need to know a good set of the kanji. All right, and today we're going to set out what those sets are. All right, so let's look at kanji groups. So the first group of kanji that is taught over 6 years. Keep that in mind. 6 years, okay? It's called the Kyōiku Kanji. Kyōiku Kanji. Kyōiku means education, and kanji means the Chinese characters. Now, I want to let you guys know that the Chinese characters in Japan are not, for the most part, many of them are not the same kanji that are used in China. In China, the Hanzi have been simplified for most of China, so they don't look the same. What they've done is they'll take like a small part of that character and they'll like zoom into it in a lot of cases and just use that as the main character. So like a quadrant of the character becomes the character in China. And the characters that are used in Taiwan, which are called the traditional characters, which are the original characters, are much more complicated than many of the Japanese characters, because even Japan is using a simplified version, their own version. Okay. All right. But anyway, we are only focusing on the Japanese, but I just thought I'd throw that in to the mix as a kind of an interesting piece of information. And then after 6th grade, when you enter junior high school, you start learning the Joyo Kanji, which is the usage, the everyday usage kanji, right? Standard usage kanji. There's 934. Now this number, when you add it up, adds up to 1940. Now traditionally, actually, did I do that right? I did do that. I did the math right. Now, traditionally, in 1981, when they decided the kanji they were going to teach, or the official kanji of Japan, there was 1945. And now, apparently, there's 2,136. Now, I'm not aware of which kanji were added or where they were added, but the current list that I was able to find are these 1,006. That hasn't changed, the first 1,006. And then these Joyo kanji taught in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade in Japan, which is double. So in 3 years, they learn this almost practically the same amount that they learned in the first 6 years. And then you're done. And then you're done. No, you're not done. There's 904 more that you'll learn. Now, I believe you learn these in high school, these next 904, but we're not going to actually talk about those 904, okay? All right, so let's do this. So let's look at the Kyōiku Kanji. So the Kyōiku Kanji are split up like this. In 1st grade, you only learn 80 characters, and they're very basic characters. We are learning those characters right now. We're in the middle of learning the first 80 characters. And then in grade 2, you learn 160. Grade 3, you learn another 200. 4th grade, you learn 200 more, and then 185 in 5th and 181 in 6th, and that equals to the 1,006. And there's little kanji books that you can buy that if you go to Japan, they're pretty sweet, and they're very easy to pick up. And now I want you to know, look, this is videos on Kanji from Zero. I'm hoping you've bought my book, But I'm telling you, there's this book, which is nice, and it's all in Japanese, but isn't that funny? I have the, kind of funny, I have the, it's a Japanese kanji book, but I have the Korean book holder there, because I bought it in Korea. But yeah, this is kind of nice. This is all of the kanji, and a lot of Japanese kids will have books like this as their reference when they're doing their homework. It's got common words, it's got the stroke order. It doesn't talk about big usage, it's just really one quadrant of a page, and that's why they can get it so... Excuse me, I probably should turn my phone off. Sorry about that. Oops, that's my flashlight. All right. And you can get a book like this on Amazon, COJP, which is the Japanese version of Amazon, for maybe delivered to your house for $8. So try to get one. It's a nice little book to have around. And that will cover all of the Kyoiku kanji. And there is a book after that. I have purchased it. It's at my house right now, I think, but it's got the remaining and like another 1,000 or so kanji. Okay, so let's look at these exact lists. Now, the entire Kanji from Zero series will go through all of these characters. Okay, we're going to do all of the kanji for the Kanji from Zero book series, and we will have videos for everyone eventually when all the books come out. So I hope you keep following. That means there will be most likely, there's about 30 to 40 lessons per book, depending on the book. So let's just round it up to, there'll be like 150 videos teaching kanji that you can go through with us. All right, so this is what Japanese people learn in first grade. Now, the order that I'm showing here is in alphabetical order, in the reading order, in what they call the Goju On Jun, the 50 sound order. So like Ichi, and Ishi, I believe that's the order. Yeah, because it's ending on roku. So it looks like it's using the Chinese readings and going through that in order. I might be wrong, but it looks like that to be the case. Now, that's important because this first 80, no matter what book you get, the chances of it being the same order as another book is not so strong. Because unless they're doing it in the A, I, U, E, O order, okay, the Japanese alphabetical order. Many books, especially for children, will group them into the groups that make more sense. That's what we've done in Kanji from Zero. We grouped that numbers are into numbers. Like if you look at this, like you've got 1 here and you've got 2 there and 3 there, and it's like all over the place. Why would you learn it that way? It makes more logical sense to learn them, in my mind, into groups that are common, right? Commonly grouped, things like days of the week and flower and grass and stuff like that should all be together. So that's what we do. Now, each book will have their own versions, and certainly when we wrote the Kanji from Zero book order, we really took a lot of time to try to figure out what was the best order. Okay, now, so this order is in that order, just for the record. And this is covered in Kanji from Zero Book 1. And actually, Kanji from Zero Book 1 also covers this set of kanji. So we're doing first year and second year kanji, 240 kanji in the first kanji book. All right. So this is the next set. Again, it's doubled from the first one. All right. Then this is third grade here. Okay, take a moment to memorize all of these. Once you've memorized all these, I'll be testing you at the end. Let's take a drink. Just go ahead and memorize all of these. Got them? All right, great. Good job, guys. So now, third grade kanji, because there's 200 of them, we can cover them all in just one book. Okay, now keep in mind, that is, for Japanese people, a year of study. It is not, oh, I read the book in 1 month. And I want you guys to know that this is not one of those processes that you all of a sudden get everything. So you can't feel bad when you don't know all of the kanji. And another thing I want to point out is that it's very easy to use kanji as a gauge for how well your Japanese is, right? It's a crutch. I don't think it's a good thing to say, how's your Japanese? Oh, I know 400 kanji. That doesn't mean anything. Do you know how to use those kanji? Do you know the words that are used with that kanji? Can you speak? Do you speak the level of kanji recognition that you have? For example, when I learn a kanji, or right now when I learn a Chinese character, I try to learn more than just what that kanji does. I like to learn how it's used. I'm learning Chinese now, okay? So I'm learning characters that don't exist in Japanese. So it's very foreign to me, and it reminds me of when I learned Japanese. But when you learn a character, you want to learn the words that can it make a verb? Can it make an adjective? What can you do with it? That's how you learn Japanese. You don't learn Japanese by simply memorizing the meaning of a character and the readings of a character. That's helpful, but it doesn't really go beyond more than being a parlor trick, Now, I know 800 kanji. And there are teachers that I've heard of them and I've witnessed them. They're teachers that also relay on they say learn the kanji, and it's because it's easy to grade if you know the kanji or not, and it's not as hard to teach as grammar. And when the teacher fails, it's very easy to point to other students that know it. So just don't fall down the I need to learn all the kanji trap, okay? All right. And then in 4th grade, did that list even change? Hang on. It did. It just barely changed because you see it changing? I see it. Okay, great. So this is what we will teach in Kanji from Zero Book 3, and it's what they teach in 4th grade. Can you imagine by 4th grade, we know almost 800 kanji or 600 kanji, I believe, at this point. I think my math might be a little bit wrong. All right, and then in 5th grade, they kind of give you a little bit of a break. You only learn 185. And then 5th grade, wait a minute, did I just say I screwed up? No, I didn't screw up. I lost track because it's 5th grade in Japanese, but it's book 4 in our book series. I got confused. And this is the last that you learn when you're in elementary school. Okay, so in 6th grade you learn the final 181, and then everything in this book here and all of the Kanji from Zero book series, and it takes them 6 years. Keep that in mind. Okay. All right. Then when you get to chugakko 1年, you get 316. That's 7th grade. In 7th grade, they've significantly added to the amount that you have to learn in 1 year, 316. And do I know most of these? Yep, most of these look pretty familiar to me. Just checking my level. I've never counted, for myself personally, I've never counted how many kanji do I know. I do know that there's a list later on that I don't know almost any of the kanji in that list. So, and I don't care to learn them. This is 8th grade. So it's 2nd year of junior high, chugakko 2年生, you learn another 285. I'm seeing a lot of, I'm starting to see some that I don't know. I'm going to say maybe half of these I could figure out. All right. And then 3rd year of junior high school, which is 9th grade in America, you learn another 333. Right. So this is an important point to note. This is where Japanese learning officially stops. 9th grade. What do you mean? They all go to high school. No, they don't. No, by law in America, we have obligatory education, where we have to go to 12th grade. We have to graduate high school. That's our law. Okay. But in Japan, it's only 9th grade. When you're done with 9th grade, you don't have to go to school anymore by law. Okay. Most people do, but high school isn't free. And you have to have entrance exams to get into high school. Okay, this is part of why I think this is a sad thing to say, but the suicide rate is very high in Japan. Korea now is number 1 for suicides, if I remember correctly. That data might not be correct by the time you're watching this video, but Japanese have a lot of stress in their life, especially around this time where most people do go to high school, but if they don't pass the Kimatsu Shiken, their entrance exam for high school, they can't get in. All right, and they might end up going to not as good of a school. They might have to go to a prep school. There's all sorts of things they'd have to do to try to remedy that. Okay, and that's even when they know almost 2,000 kanji. Maybe they won't get in. All right, and then there's 904 left, and I don't remember. I believe this is 904 kanji. This is what you need to know to do the Kanji Kente Ikkyu test, which is the highest level. There's 10 levels to the kanji. Everyone's very familiar with the JLPT. The JLPT test is the Nihongo Noryoku Shiken, the Japanese language proficiency test. And that, I believe, has N5 for 3, 2, 1 levels, okay? But the kanji kente has 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1 to the top. And most people don't get EQ, but this is EQ. And I look through here, and the funny thing is, I know some of these characters only because I'm learning Chinese. Many of these I don't know. I see a few that I know, but really many of them are because I'm learning Chinese. And I wouldn't know, like for example, I see bird in here. Bird is obviously something that you would need to know, but it's not taught. It's required in the kanji EQ. So I believe bird's probably taught in the lower languages too, in the lower levels too. But most of these that are required for EQ are crazy. I don't know them. And I'm not too interested in knowing them, except for that they're Chinese. It's kind of fun for me. All right, so that's what they learn in Japan. We've now looked at almost 3,000 kanji, okay? Although traditionally you hear that it's 2,000 or 2,136. All right, so now let's go back to where we were, right? Because learning this many kanji requires that you learn each kanji. All right, so here we are, back down to the basics. If you're watching this video, you might not know this kanji yet. Hopefully it's review for you because you've already been through the lesson. So this is big. This kanji means big, and the Japanese readings, the kunyomi, are o. It's o. When we have the parentheses here, even this book does that. It's a very common thing. They give you the common paired word. It's o ki. Okay, so they'll do that here. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, normally it's with what they'll do is they'll show it with a when it's the okurigana of a verb, or they'll show it when it's the do they call it okurigana when it's not with a verb? I don't know. When it's with an adjective, like in oki, is the key part okurigana? If you guys know, I never thought about it. I always assumed okurigana was only for the verbs. But anyway, the kana portions, the hiragana portions would be in parentheses. All right, and then the onyomi, or the Chinese readings, are dai or tai. Now I want to point out, Chinese people don't actually say that character is dai or tai. When Chinese was imported into Japan, it might have been that. It was like the Wu dynasty when it first went over there, and you're talking hundreds of years of back and forth when they adopted this, okay? And it wasn't the current Mandarin that we know now. Chinese over 1,000 years has changed. This character in Chinese is da. It's not dai or tai. I've never heard it that in Chinese. So important to know. I remember I used to think that if I said the onyomi readings in China, I would be understand, but that's not the case. They don't understand you at all. All right, and there are obviously just 3 strokes with this. And let's look at some words. So obviously we have oki. Oki just means big. And this is a standard adjective. We learned this in Japanese from Zero, book 1. And we learned how to make it okikunai, not big. Okikata was big. Okikunakata wasn't big. We know you should, hopefully, you're not, I would welcome you, like if you don't know Japanese grammar or how to make adjectives, please I've got 90 other videos or more where we go through the Japanese from Zero book series. Please go look at that and get up to speed before you're here. And also, if you don't know hiragana and katakana, don't study kanji yet. Please learn, because Japanese children learn hiragana and katakana before they learn the kanji. They would never dream of starting them on kanji before they knew those things. All right, so you should do the same. All right, so any word that has this character in it will tend to mean something to be big. I like this one because it shows we have a pattern that we're gonna see through the kanji that we learned today that are all about school. So one is daigaku, and I'll say that the most challenging part about the Japanese characters, if you've come from a background of learning Chinese, you'll know, or even if whether it's simplified or traditional, you'll know that Chinese typically has just the one reading, sometimes 2, but normally just 1, whereas Japanese can have, even with this kanji, 3 different readings. So that's a little bit challenging, but it's just like learning how to read words in English like phone. You know that PH isn't read as F, okay? So we have a lot of weird things like that in English, and that's just standard in Japanese language. That's the challenge of Japanese language. So daigaku. Never would it be read ogaku. Never would it be read taigaku. It's always read daigaku. Okay? And also, this would never be read taiki or daiki. It's always oki. And remember, the instinct that we learned was that typically, if a kanji character is by itself with hiragana after it, then it's going to be the Japanese reading. And if it's combined with another kanji, it's going to, in a juku, in a compound word, it's typically going to be the Chinese reading or the onyomi. Let me get a drink. I highly recommend you get some oicha, short oicha, but they call it oi ocha. You can get it on Amazon, believe it or not. It is Japanese green tea, very healthy. I like it so much that I've got another bottle right here. So, all right. So this word is kakudai, and you'll see this on copy machines. Kakudai suru. So kakudai suru means to enlarge it. So maybe if you're working in a company and someone says, go make a copy of this, and they might say, kakudai shite kudasai. Please enlarge it, okay? Or magnify it, basically. All right? And now this one is not in the book, and I put this in here on purpose because it's not using any of the readings that we learned. It's otona, and I don't even know if that's O and that's tona. I don't know where it goes, because this is one of those words like kyo. Kyo is like ima and nichi, but somehow it's written as kyo, one thing. It's not standard. It's kind of like the letters have been slapped on there, okay? So this is otona, and it means adult. And it's not even otona. That's not a typo. It's otona. It just means big person or adult, all right? So there is stuff like that you just have to remember. You can't straight learn the readings and be able to read everything in Japan. That's one of the most frustrating things about Japanese, if I'm going to be openly honest. All right, let's move to the next kanji. So we had big. Now this means middle or medium. It's used for a lot of things with middle, but it can also be used for medium, okay? All right, so we've got we got naka for our kunyomi, and we've got chu, chu, chu. Chu is also the Japanese kiss sound. Chu shite ageru. Chu shite. A lot of people are throwing up right now. I appreciate that. Whenever I do my cute voice, I have one in Korean and I have one in Japanese. I've never gotten a laugh. Never. Like, I always imagine when I do the cute, like, chu shite ageru, never works. It almost always gets a but it wouldn't be written in kanji like that. It wouldn't be written in kanji. It would just be the sound chu. All right. And this has 4 strokes. Chu shite ageru. All right. Now, that's how I talk to my cats, if I'm going to be clear. I want to be clear. That's who I'm talking to, my cats. Okay, so naka. Naka, this is, when it's by itself, not written chu. I mean, not read as chu, ever. It's naka. So, for example, you could say, botoru no naka, inside the bottle. Poketto no naka. Poketto no naka. It's inside the thing. We learned this in Japanese from Zero Book 2 when we learned locations. Tsukue no naka, inside the desk. Hikidashi no naka, inside the drawer. Okay? Now, here it is. This is exactly what we talked about. We have 2 kanji together. Now we're reading the Chinese reading, or the onyomi. Okay? So, chushin. Chushin means the middle or center, right? So let's say, what can I think of for chushin? Tsukue no chushin, the center of the desk, okay? All right. And here we go. Here's our school theme. We had daigaku to mean college. This is chugakko, chugakko, which is junior high school or middle, right? It's like middle school, which we actually call it in America, middle school. Now, it doesn't work exactly like you think it would, because we're going to learn small school in a second, and then you have middle school, but then high school is not big school. That is tall school. And then you go to big for daigaku. So koukou is actually tall. So kind of a jump there. right? So 中学校, junior high. And also junior high in Japan is 3 years, and high school is just 3 years. In America, high school is 4 years, which means our middle school tends to be, and it depends on the state, how they do it. Every state's a little bit different. But here in Las Vegas, we have 6 grades for elementary, and then you're in junior high for 2 years, but in Japan it's 3. And then in America it's 4 years, but in Japan it's 3. So in Japan it's 6-3-3, in America it's 6-2-4. That's kind of an interesting thing. So it kind of plays on your brain, because you say, in America you say, yeah, I'm in my 4th year of high school, but that doesn't exist in Japan. And in Japan, you're a 3rd year of high school, that's when you're a senior. All right? And 勉強中, anytime you see 中 like this at the end of something, it means in the middle of, okay? For example, if you go to a store, a restaurant, it could say a few things. It could say 営業中. I don't have that up on the screen, but 営業中 means open for business. It means we are in open right now. 営業中. Then you might have, like, it looks similar. If you don't know the kanji, you might say 準備中, which means we're preparing, which means they're not open, right? So the same looking sign, 3 kanji, and the bottom is chu. Make sure you know how eigyo and junbi look if you want to know what they mean. There could also be, you go to a bathroom and there might be a little sign up and it says soji chu, in the middle of cleaning, which means you can't enter, right? They wouldn't have open for business on a bathroom sign. They wouldn't have eigyo chu there. All right. Yes, very good, Corona. And actually, Corona, you posted shigoto chu. That's what I use in the book. Shigoto chu means I'm in the middle of work. Okay? I'm in the middle of work. Now, you can't just say chu randomly on anything. Like, I can't say I'm in the middle of homework. I can't say shukudai chu. That doesn't work. It's certain words that are accepted with that chu on there. It's not just like I'm drinking chu. You can't do it that way. All right? All right. Here's a good one. Kangae chu. Kangae chu. I'm in the middle of thinking. It's like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Kangae chu. Kangae chu. Middle of thinking. All right. All right, next kanji. This is small. So chisai, chisai, or ko or o. Depending on the word, you have to learn it. And luckily, only one Chinese reading, or onyomi, which is shou, shou. Now in Chinese, it's xiao, xiao. So it's similar. But I used to make this joke that if you want to say Chinese, you just cover your mouth and you let the wind blow. Shou, shou, xiao. You say Japanese and you cover your mouth. Because it really is like a distortion. The Chinese that I'm learning feels like a distortion of the Chinese readings. But they're never close enough for a Chinese person to know what you mean. And also they use the characters completely different in many cases. Like really different. The Chinese kanji, I didn't know this until I started learning. It's different. Like the kanji for to go in Japanese means okay, it's okay. In Chinese, it's never used for go. So there's that. So that has 3 strokes. All right, and here's some words. Obviously, we start with the basics. Chisai. Chisai is just the adjective to mean small. And here's our school theme. Shogakko. Shogakko. So we had chugakko, middle school or junior high. Now we have shogakko, the smallest, which is elementary school. And if you want to know, there is kindergarten, that's yochien, has nothing, none of the size things are in there, okay? And then we had koko, or kotogakko, high school. I think it's kotogakko, I think they're lengthened. And then you've got daigaku. So we've got shogakko, chugakko, daigaku. It's not daigakko, it's daigaku, and it ends. It's never shogaku, and it's never chugaku, unless you're saying the students. Like you can have chugakusei. Chugakusei means middle school student or junior high school student. And then you've got shogakusei, elementary school student. And daigakusei, college student. Kokousei, which is high school student. All right, this is an important one. Koneko. Koneko. So koneko means small cat, but there's a similar word with a different kanji, and it means baby cat, like a kitten. So I remember I did a video on this maybe 15 years ago. I'm going to put that clip in right now. This is from a show called George and Keiko. Here's a small clip of me talking about this in the show. It's a little bit fun. Go ahead and watch it. Welcome to the George and Keiko Japanese Topic Show. Yay! Yay! Today's topic is one of my favorite topics. What? どうしたの?
Yeah.
Words that start with こ。忘れてた。今ね、かから始まる言葉を言おうと思ったんですよ。
さっき見たから。
そう。Words that start with こ。All of these words have the same pretext. Wait, not pretext. Prefix. The first part is all the same. 子犬、子猫、小鳥、小猿。
同じ感じじゃん。
そうです。So, this is ko. Now, what's interesting is it can be kodomo no ko or chisai, right? So you can have puppy, koinu, kitten, koneko, chiki. Is it chiki? What is this, John? Can you help, man?
嫌な感じ。またそれを何を言わせようかが分かって。
A chick? Hot chick. Atsui tori. No. Kotori is a little bird, and then a kozaru. You can do it for anything, like a kobuta, a little pig, like I just mentioned earlier.
そうね、漢字違ったら意味がちょっと変わるもんね。
まあね、yeah, it could be a small cat, a koneko, or a kitten with a different kanji, koneko. So that is my super card, all related. And you can put this, you could say like a small horse is what?
子馬。
Right, well, a small hippo. I don't think you can say that. It sounds cute though, kokaba.
コカバ。大カバ、小カバ。
それ早口言葉であるの？
ない。ちょっと難しいなと思って。
小カバはないよね。
大カバ、小カバ。言いにくくない？
言いにくいよね。
小カバ。かわいい。
Okay, side note though, me and my wife, like we don't call each other baka, we call each other kaba, because it's reverse. So this is a bad habit of mine. I always go, you kabayaro.
Right? なるほどね。
It's cute, you know, you little hippo. I apologize that wasn't 4K video because back then everything was Ace SD. But so there you go. Now you have a little bit of insight how just changing the kanji changes the meaning. All right, and then I don't particularly like this word ogawa because I never use it, but it's hard to find words that use that particular reading. Sometimes there's a reading of a kanji that's really rare. It's just not used, even though it can be there. And sometimes there's readings that, like, I'll explain something. In the first 6 years, you might learn a kanji and then later on learn readings that you didn't learn here. So they don't teach all the readings. They sometimes have readings that are taught later on. They're like specialized readings. So this is ogawa. It means brook or stream. Now I want to point out, you could say chisai kawa, and it would mean a small river. But ogawa is a brook or a stream, which is by definition is kind of like a small river, right? All right. Next kanji. En. This kanji, when you look at it, you almost always will say it's just en. This kanji. I'm gonna make an educated guess that this is the most visible kanji in all of Japan. Someone challenged me on that. This kanji is written in more places than any other kanji. That's my educated, not really educated, but my professional guess. Because this is on every piece of money in Japan. It means yen. Now, Japanese never say yen. They say en. Now, when you say 1,000 yen, sen yen, it sounds like yen, right? And I think that's why it became that way. If you say 10,000 yen, ichiman yen. When you go from that un to an e, it sounds like a ye, and I think that's why in America we call it yen. Okay. And there it is. There's the Chinese reading. Now, we're talking about the Chinese reading, the onyomi, but did you know Koreans, even though they don't use kanji now, they did used to use kanji, and they eventually switched to their own system. But if you know Japanese kanji and you start learning Korean, you'll see where they we're using, those kanji used to be there. This kanji in Korean is one, not en. I don't know what it is in Chinese. I haven't learned that yet. And it is a 4-stroker. Woo, having fun. I really want to recommend, now that you're learning kanji, once you get pretty comfortable with yourself and you feel like you're good in Japanese, go learn Chinese. Go learn Korean. It's really fun. And I don't think you need to wait a long time. I waited way too long to start learning Korean. I was 39 when I started. So my dad said when I was 17, he told me, George, you're pretty good at Japanese. Why don't you learn another language? And I was like, no, Japanese is all I want to learn. Why would I learn another language? 39-year-old me is like, oh, I mean, it's not a regret, but, in 2002, I had a great Korean friend, and she used to be on our shows all the time. Matter of fact, let's see. Can I throw a clip of our Korean friend from 2001 or 2002? Here's my Korean friend. I'm not feeling like it's not a complete thing here. 何か足りない。
何が足りないの？
足りない。
足りないのね。
なんか不足してる。不足？不足。
不足ね。不足。
日本語って難しいよね。Now, before I show my card, I'm going to bring in a special guest. Because nothing... This... Come on. Come on in, Spicy Girl. Oh, wait. Yeah, that works. Go ahead. Spicy Girl number 1. And who is it? Is it Chie? Is it Chie? Is it Chie? Is it Sayaka? Oh my god, it's that Korean girl.
What?
はい、もっと。はい。ちょっとタイトね。ちょっときついね。Spicy Korean girl, right?
Spicy, yes. It's been a while, right? Three of us.
ちょっと久しぶりだね。
久しぶりね。
前やったのは去年のクリスマスじゃん? Wasn't like the last show we did the Christmas show?
Right.
Wow, I think it's getting close to Christmas too. We're gonna have to do can you come on the Christmas show too?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Isn't it right after
Hey,
the show?
no, shh. それ内緒だよ、それは。
I gotta
Where's
be
the secrets, man?
Yeah, we gotta wear same clothes, right?
Okay. Hot Asian lunch. She was fun. And when I say friend, I was her teacher and she was learning Japanese in my class, but we were doing shows for years. She would come on as a special guest on those shows. And that would have been a great opportunity for me to learn Korean. And I know that this is a learning Japanese video, but I'm a huge fan of learning languages. And even though your Japanese will be affected by learning another language, it will slow you a little bit. It's really fun. And you'll see the parallels between Korean and Japanese or Chinese and Japanese, and it's fun. Yes, Shonen, her name was Jessie. The Korean girl's name was Jessie. I'll try to find some funny clips to put her in. All right, so let's look at some words that use, by the way, this means round. It doesn't mean yen. It means round. That's what its meaning is. Marui. Marui. Okay, that means it's round. Like, for example, I could say, marui desu. This is round. Marui. Okay? Now, I'm not gonna talk about this. It's in the book. There's something we talk about, but I don't want to. We've already talked a lot today. I don't want to overburden you. And here's what I was talking about. So 100 yen. Again, I really believe it's possible. This is the most used kanji. If anyone wants to challenge me in the comments, tell me another kanji that you think is used more. And you can't use. Remember we talked about the kurikaishi symbol, the symbol that. It's called the hardest working kanji in all of Japan. That's the one that can be read a lot of ways. That one doesn't count because they don't use it as much as this. It's more visible in Japan. All right. Endaka. Endaka, if you watch any Japanese news, you're going to hear two words. Endaka and en-yasu. Endaka means when the yen is very strong. And it's always kind of hard to envision it. But when the yen is strong, it means that $1 is worth less yen. Because the yen... You need less yen to buy $1. And typically when they say endaka, they're just talking about, it's normally with the dollar, but they could be strong against the Chinese currency or the Korean currency. They'll say, it's right now we're in a period of endaka. 今は円高ですからね. Right now it's a strong yen. And then en-yasu is when it takes more yen to buy $1. Okay. When I was in Japan, when I first went to Japan when I was 12, in 1985, the yen was about 270 yen to the dollar. So it was en yasu. Okay, it was very weak to the dollar, and it was coming down from 360 over time. When I got there, it was 270. So $100 for me back then was 10,000 yen, which is a lot. Now that same, wait a minute, I take that back. That was my $100 was 27,000 yen, but now it would only be worth like about 11,000 yen. So the yen is much stronger, much more endaka now. Okay. By the way, this is what I mean when I say don't just learn the kanji. Learn what the kanji does. Okay. Take some time. I know it's hard because you don't know where to go to look, but there are good books out there that you can get. There's a lot of great kanji books, not just my own. I welcome you to try multiple sources. Obviously, my approach is I feel it's very pragmatic. So I'm going to teach you things that I think are important, and I don't go out of the scope of those things for the most part. I try to keep them, like, it's things that I know for sure are really interesting to know and not parlor trick level, okay? En yasu and en daku you'll hear all the time in the economic news. And enke. Now let's keep this kanji in mind. We're not learning this kanji yet. It's katachi. Katachi is the Japanese reading for it, and kei is the Chinese reading for it, but it means shape. So enke, it will make another appearance in our next kanji. Enke, round shape. Because normally you might say it's marui, you wouldn't say it's enke, but enke might work more like in manufacturing, because it's a round shape instead of marui desu. All right, I think we've got this one and one more. So this is person, okay? Kind of looks like a guy walking, doesn't it? Like he's putting his foot forward and he's walking. So this is hito. Hito. Now, I'm not saying hito. It's not hito. The Japanese sometimes sound like they're saying even shito. Shito. It sounds Russian almost, but hito. Hito. It sounds like that, even though we're saying ha, hi, hu, he, hi, right? Ha, hi, hito. But it's not hito, it's hito, hito. And it could be jin or nin, okay? Chinese reading, if you want to know the real Chinese reading, it's rang, rang. So it doesn't sound anything like jin. It doesn't sound anything like nin. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I did look at Wu. When I learned that kanji came into China from the Wu dynasty, I went and looked at a Wu dialect video. I looked at one exactly, so I don't have a lot of empirical evidence. But I watched with subtitles, and the readings in Wu dialect were super close to the Japanese readings in their Chinese readings. So I was correlating, like I thought, well, let's see if that's true. But it was really hard for me to find Wu dialect videos that had subtitles. So I challenge you to go check that out if you're interested. Actually, don't check it out. If you're focused on learning Japanese characters, our Chinese version of the Japanese version of the Chinese characters, because don't waste your time. Get through to the end of the Japanese ones and then go back and study that if you want to. I really am a fan of getting direct to this, to knowing the bulk of things instead of taking all these side roads. Okay, so that has 2 strokes. All right. When it's by itself, it's always read hito. Never read jin and never read nin. Ever, ever, ever. If you ever see a kanji by itself, it is almost always written. Almost always, I say, because even like just now when we learned, let's go back for a second. When we learned it, I was trying to say right now, when a kanji stands alone, it's typically read in the Japanese reading. But this one breaks that rule because it's read as en. En. It could be read as maru. It could be, but it's almost always read as en. And that's because it's representing the money. I think it's much more common that way. All right. Speaking of Chinese people, Chugokujin. Now we just learned this character, Chu. So China is the inner country. That's what they think their name is. So that's why it's Chugoku, right? And Japan, right? Nihon, the land of the rising sun. It's because it rises from Japan, from the perspective of China. The sun rises. Is that true? It is true. I just double check. It rises over Japan from their perspective. So that's why it's Nippon or Nihon. All right. So Chugokujin, and you can just throw jin on any country and you're going to get the language, the nationality of the person. We learned this, I think, in book 3. You got Nihonjin, Japanese, America Jin, Africa Jin, Franzjin, Deutschjin, just whatever the name of the country is, plus Jin, and you will typically get the name of the nationality. All right. Now this is interesting. In this word, we've got 3 kanji, and it's Chugoku Jin, read as Jin, but this one is koibito. It's the Japanese reading inside of a jukugo, inside of a compound word. You just have to learn that. That's never koijin, ever. Okay? It's always koibito. And remember the rule that we learned, I say the name, but I don't expect you to remember the rendaku rule, where if you can put a dakuten on the reading when it's like that, it typically is added. Not always, but in this case it is. Koibito means a lover. Okay? And jinrui. Now, jinrui means mankind. And we're going to take a moment just to do something. Remember that kanji we learned earlier? We learned the kanji read as ke and katachi, which means shape. And here it is read with another reading, gyo. Ningyo is the shape of a person. It's a doll. So typically you learn kanji. Remember on a prior video, I was making the point that not all kanji are pictures. But what they are, when they're combined into a word, they are not pictures per se for each kanji, but they make logical sense a lot of times when they make the words, okay? And this is one example where it's person shape is a doll, ningyo. And here's the fun part. All we have to do is drop the u. It's a whole other kanji, ningyo. Ningyo is person fish. Person fish. One of the readings of fish, this is sakana or uo or gyo is this particular kanji. It's mermaid. So kind of nice, right? Ningyo and ningyo. Ningyo and ningyo. All right. So it's easy to visualize those type of things. But I think it is hard. Like, how is that a fish? That doesn't really look like a fish. How is that shape? You know, I don't know how that means shape. I get how person looks like he's walking, and that works, but you have to have that looks like a picnic table and a tree next to it for me. So you can't really rely on the kanji actually looking like what it's supposed to mean. Except for this one, which I do think looks like an eye or a ladder. It does also look like a ladder, but this is eye. And the Japanese readings are me and ma, and the Chinese readings are moku and boku. And I never learned this in Chinese yet. You'd think, no, you know, because Chinese use a whole different character to say I. It's not this one, so, and I don't remember how to say it, unfortunately. 5 strokes. All right. This kanji is very important, by the way. It's the last one that we're going to do today, but it's very important. So we've got medatsu. Medatsu. This is a verb. Medachimasu. Medachimashita. Medatanai de. Don't stand out. So maybe if I'm wearing very showy clothing, then I'm medatteiru. Medatteiru. I'm showing out. It's not showing off, but I'm like showy, right? Oh, Americans stand out in the crowd. 日本人の中にアメリカ人一人がいれば目立ちます. If there's one American in a crowd of Japanese or among Japanese, he will stand out. Okay? I suppose that's not always true. You could be an Asian American. You could be like Chinese born here in America and so that was probably racist. I'm sorry. All right. Now, let's look at this one. Oops, that's typo. I did it. I got this far and I screwed up. This is supposed to mean a superior, someone above you. And I like that we already know both of these kanji, okay? Me ue. And normally what they say is me ue no hito, a person who is superior. This is like your boss, okay? And then the people below you are me shita no hito, okay? Not Chinese person. I'm not saying Chinese people are superior. I'm not saying that. But if there's Chinese people watching, they'll probably think I'm saying that. All right. This one, I thought this was a fun one to put in. Medamayaki. Medamayaki. So let's break this up. Me means eye. Dama means ball. Medama by itself means eyeball. And yaki means to fry. It's the verb yaku, to fry. Medama yaki is sunny side up eggs. Kind of cool, right? But medama all by itself is eyeball. So you could say like, oh, medama ga itai. My eyeball hurts. But when you're eating, well, how would you like your eggs? Medama yaki. Medama yaki de onegai shimasu. Scramble being like scramble. All right. Here's a big one because I needed something that had moku in it. So we have mokugekisha. Mokugekisha means witness. It's with like eye and shot and person. Eye shot person. But all by itself, mokugeki means to witness. So mokugeki shimashita. I witnessed something, right? Mokugeki suru, to witness. Mokugekisha is a witness. One second. Got a little bit of drink going here. Yes, I know it's typical that I have a typo. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. It takes like 2 hours to make these things. I should have checked it. I should have done one run through, but just trying to keep my image up. All right. Let's look at. I wanted to do 2 more words for this, and then we have a very important thing that we can do with me. So medama shohin. I was keeping the medama in there. This is an eyeball product, right? Shohin means product. Medama shohin is like a loss leader or a thing that you put in your store that draws people to your store. It gets your eyeball. It's called medama shohin. Okay? Typically it's cheap. It's like on Black Friday in America when we go shop, they have these doorbusters. It's kind of like that. Okay? And I needed another moku reading, so we've got kamoku. And that means school subject. Okay. We're going to end with this. This particular kanji me in the next reading has nothing to do with I, but it is extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Useful? Not useful. Give me a second. Utilitarian. It's a utility in Japanese. It's really important. So, ichiban me. We know that ichiban means number one because we've all seen the headbands, right? Like, or the shirts. Ichiban, you, right? But ichiban me means first. Second is niban me. Third, sanban me. And this me is a rank counter. It's a counter for the counters. We learned this in, I think, Japanese from Zero, Book 3, Lesson 7. We have a whole lesson on it where we talk about all the usages of it. So for example, you can have sankome, the third one. Maybe you're talking about your fifth girlfriend. You say gonin me. You have a picture. Go この人は私の5人目の彼女です. Okay, this is my fifth girlfriend. What if you want to say my second wife? It's never. You could theoretically say 2番目の奥さん. You could say that, but you'll probably say 2人目の奥さん. All right, that is it. If you'd like to get a copy of Kanji from Zero, you can of course get it on Amazon US and UK, and all of the Amazons have it. Any Barnes and Nobles you can go to and get it, and you can order it. They'll deliver it. It won't typically be in the store, but they'll order it for you. There's another company. If you don't have an Amazon in your area, Book Depository has it, and they ship, I believe, either free or for only $5. I can't remember anymore. I think it's free all around the world, and the price is not expensive, although it does take forever. But they'll ship to like the Philippines and all these other areas that normally Amazon doesn't ship to. And in the UK, we have a book distributor named Bay Books. If you go to the Bay Books website, they actually have a very good price on these books, but they are only for the UK. Thank you for watching Japanese from Zero. I will see you on the next Kanji from Zero, where we learn the next set of kanji. じゃあね。